4 bites.
Jelly Jubilee.
Yeah.
Official fan club.
I
Hello.
love it.
Okay, wait. I need to see that.
Yeah,
There's so
you want
many
a tour?
stickers.
I have so many. I have ones I want to put on my phone. I bought a clear phone case so I can put them in. I also redid my Kindle.
Reese is the most handsome I love Reese. Wow.
I need one of the names that Hunt and Bryce would put in each other's phones.
Yes, there was one sticker, and it was a little phone of text messages, and it showed like two of them. Like it showed her name at the top, and then it was like a little text exchange, but I can't remember what it said. It was really cute.
I'm assuming Light It Up is from Crescent City.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I might read it. one day.
Illyrian baby.
It's so good.
I bought 2 different packs because I like the variety.
You know, the men who play these roles are gonna have to get prepped
Dude.
because there's a whole like genre
World of people.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
a small army of people.
that are
Yeah.
gonna be fawning over them.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one casting? I sent it to you, I think.
Yeah, Sarah also sent it to me. It was so good.
It was actually like
I meant to send it to you. You want to send it to Alana?
Meant to send it to me.
She meant to send it.
to you.
She meant to send it.
Remember, I told you the fan casting for Avatar.
Okay.
It's so good. I don't know most of the people, but
Yeah, I only knew a couple of them, but I honestly kind of like that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not somebody that I associate with something else.
Right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Everyone keeps putting Matthew Daddario.
That's the only one that I was
Yes.
like.
I think that it looks good.
He literally, and here's my thing. I think that people think this because he played in Shadowhunters, and so his
Mhm.
character kind of mimics Azrael
Mhm.
a
Kind
lot.
of an Azrael-ish.
Yes.
I've seen another fan casting for Azrael that was really good, and I can't remember what it was.
I just wish people would pick somebody other than Matthew because
Yeah.
I've already
Right.
seen him in this like Shadow Daddy era.
Mm.
I
Right.
don't want to see him again.
Yeah.
Like, pick somebody else, please. I mean, to be fair, he is a very attractive man, but
Sure.
please put somebody else there.
Do you think we'll ever film a podcast where we don't talk about Akatar at least a little bit?
I don't think so, actually.
No.
No.
Okay, good.
Oh, Phoebe as Nesta.
No, it works so
Yeah.
well though.
Oh, Kristen as
The girl for
Elaine.
Elaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see Claire Holt as more.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same.
absolutely.
I actually really liked that one.
Absolutely.
I think I've liked that the most out of all the more fan casts that I've seen.
Amren, is this the girl from Squid Games?
Oh, maybe. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, it might be.
I don't know. I might be crazy.
I feel
been
like
a
I
hot
wanted
minute.
her to look a little older.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But other than that, like, not a bad cast.
I just feel like Amren is like eternal youth,
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
basically.
true. She is. Yeah. Maybe it's her wisdom that makes her.
I
cool.
think that is the girl from Squid
Yeah.
Game.
See, I wasn't positive, but
I think it is.
man, that's exciting.
It's
Yeah.
not a bad fan cast.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like it a
Well,
lot.
unfortunately, it is also a fan cast,
Yeah,
so we're all
mm.
going to be so disappointed when it's not the people other people have
Mhm.
picked.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people.
No, literally.
Uh,
When this ever gets turned into something ever. Speaking of things getting turned into things,
Uh-huh.
Emily Henry's 4 previous novels,
right.
the ones that came out before this, so Beach Read, Book
Mhm.
Lovers, People We Meet on Vacation, and Happy Place
Mhm.
are all in progress of being turned into movies.
You're
I
joking.
want this to be a movie so bad.
Yeah, I want to see this. In
It
movie
probably
It'd be
will.
She
so
sets it up
good.
so
you
well
said-
in like a
yeah.
movie.
You said something about wanting it to be a movie in your TikTok, maybe?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yeah, all 4 of her other ones are in progress. So
Yeah.
it's
She
pretty
just
much
writes
guaranteed.
like basically a script.
Yeah.
Like she,
It's
it's just so
so
good.
good.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's something that would translate so well to screen.
Yeah. Does she write like
Oh,
this
yeah.
in all of her books? Oh God. Okay, now I need to buy all of them. Oh God.
Granted, this is very similar to the other 2 I read, and like I told you, people say I haven't seen it in a while, but it for a minute, it was a lot of TikToks where people were talking about you're either a happy place beach read person or you're a book lovers people we meet on vacation person. And those are the two. I've read book lovers and people we meet on vacation.
Right.
And this felt very reminiscent of those.
Mm.
Okay.
But I can't imagine the other two are just so far off.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are things I would buy like physical copies of too.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot, so I don't
Mhm.
have to like
I
catch up.
have Beach
Yeah.
Read on my shelf and I just haven't read it.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna buy Happy Place like when we're done.
I want to read Happy
Yeah.
Place so badly.
because Amazon's doing the book sale
Mm.
and like some of this stuff is like, yeah, no, it's been that price. Like
Mhm.
Right. Right.
it was already that price because Amazon's just cheap.
Mhm.
But then like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and then the second one
Mm-hmm.
are both on sale for $5.50.
Why didn't I wait? Why didn't I wait? I literally jumped the gun. I was like, ooh, a buy it, ooh, a buy.
Uh-huh.
And I was like a month ago.
Yeah.
If I just waited, I haven't even
No.
opened them yet.
They're literally $5 a piece.
Guess I gotta go get it.
No, literally, I have so many books in my cart right now. I won't let myself just like shop and buy something
Yeah.
at once. So I made my cart earlier, and then I'll like go back a couple
Yeah.
times before I
Mhm.
check out.
Yeah.
It's the only way I don't spend every dollar I have.
Right.
Yeah. I get you.
True.
Hey guys,
Hey.
you would think the more we do this, we'd get better at actually starting.
Hello.
Jokes on you. We only get worse with time.
Yeah.
Hey kids, welcome back to Bookish Bites. We're literally so happy that you're here. If you weren't here, that would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is her newest release. It just came out a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm short circuiting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm short circuiting.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with this.
Mhm.
I read it very fast,
Mhm.
which always just like
Yeah.
makes me tweak out
Right.
Yeah.
when I read something that fast.
Same.
Incredible. Let's start with my first highlight.
Okay.
Chapter 1, page 2. She's talking about Peter. She says, "Right to a tall, handsome, blonde man's feet." I said, red flag, people, red flag.
Yep.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's always the blonde.
Yeah, always
the
the blondes.
Always.
Always.
I'm sure some of you out there have blonde boyfriends, and I'm sure that they're lovely people. But these authors are not helping your case. Like, they're not doing it.
No.
They're-
They're
Sorry.
setting you up for failure whenever you.
they are.
I literally made a note on page 2 because I was already like, oh, like this guy, like he seems so sweet. But then his bachelor party happened and everything changed. I said, why would you say that?
Why
But then
would
I'm
you say that?
so glad she said that. I'm so
My,
glad
my
she
God.
said
my
that.
very first highlight is chapter 2, page 12. No, he said. I mean, it wasn't like that. She told me she's in love with me, Daphne, and I realized I am too, in love with her. Fuck, I'm so sorry. And my note was trash man with a small wee wee.
Trash man.
With a small wee wee. Dang, that's tough.
Oh, that's so good.
That's
Trash
tough.
man with a small.
I highlighted whenever she said Miles, literally in chapter 1, was watching a 30-year-old Renee Zellweger sporting red pajamas and belting a song into a rolled-up magazine. I said fave, because I love
Mhm.
Bridget Jones' Diary. And I was like, green flags.
Yeah.
Green flags for
Yeah,
Miles.
yeah.
Only.
Uh-huh.
Um,
In chapter 3, when she says he kisses the top of my head like it's the most natural thing in the world, I said, well, now you have to be with him. There's no other option.
there's okay.
There's no other
sold.
option.
I'm sold.
He's green flag. Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
We're done.
If you haven't noticed, I'm wearing my feral shirt today because I will be absolutely feral this
She
this
did this
episode.
on purpose. This isn't just like a
yeah.
fashion choice.
No, this was very, very much intended.
God.
Because this is how I feel about this book.
Oh, before we continue, we also have food.
Oh,
Because
Dude.
that is what we do.
Do you
Um,
remember when I said that we only get worse with time?
Well, also Hannah's the one who jumped into everything, so
so it's your fault. Anyway,
setting us up for
That's
failure.
not like my 14th reason.
We have
That's why.
we have popcorn. From when they watch movie together.
Yeah, they always make popcorn.
Yeah.
There were so many food related things in
Yeah,
this, which
yeah,
I loved.
yeah.
So we chose popcorn.
Popcorn I had in my pantry, so
Yeah.
we chose that
Mhm.
one. And it was that the whole thing was really cute with the whole popcorn, and they watched a little
Yeah.
action movie together, and I was
She
like,
said that one time whenever they were oh god.
Petra.
No, his sister.
Julia.
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 Not that we just read this book yesterday.
No. I didn't finish it less than 12 hours ago. No big deal. But no, whenever all three of them were sitting on the couch, and she was like, sometimes his arm would like brush her leg whenever he'd reached for the popcorn.
Mhm.
When they were all sitting on the couch, and I was like, I'm tingling.
Yeah.
I feel where he touched.
Uh-huh.
I feel it on my leg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like actually, I think that this book made me like
This book obviously did something to me because I have 56 highlights and notes,
That is so good, Alana.
which is I've never done that.
literally
before.
she has literally
I'm literally
never.
I was in the moment every single time. I mean, like, I highlighted things that I was like, oh, that sounds really good, or that sounds cool. But I definitely made notes on things that I was more like, this
Mhm.
is like, there was one, it's page 42. She says, in fact, I still sometimes lie awake thinking about a time in the 6th grade when I just switched schools and a girl struck up a conversation with me about my horse necklace. And in my desperation to make friends, some foul demon possessed me.
I love it.
Some foul demon possessed me to tell the girl I loved horses and grew up going to horse riding camp every summer. I'd been horseback riding twice. I fell off the second time, if that matters. And I said, why did we do that?
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
Dude, I felt that so hard.
And that reminded me of you, actually.
Wait, oh my gosh, I told Hannah. I told Haley
Saying that
this.
you used to do that.
Wait, I told Haley this. Oh. The other day, we were talking about Hannah.
Why are we talking about him?
I'm gonna jump ahead just a little bit. We'll circle back around. Because I had so Haley, I need you, Haley, to hold my mic in front of my face. Okay.
What are you doing?
So you'll see.
Okay.
I already told you about this.
Oh,
Okay.
I forgot.
So it gets to the point where her and Ashley are talking, and it says Ashley tips her head back and laughs. The man to her left turns at the sound and gives her a flirtatious body scan, which she in her delight entirely misses. Then she proceeds to go, I love this so much. And then I literally said, it says she claps to emphasize every word I said. This is Hannah coded. Yes. Hannah coded.
Literally.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I loved Ashley.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
loved her so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Yep. The amount of times that I highlighted and said, marry this man, please, was...
Dude,
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Here's my thing that I'm obsessed with. The way she writes banter. Banter is going to sell me.
Oh my god.
Like, sell it for me every time.
Yeah.
Like, that is... I've read so many romance books. I love a lot of different styles of romance books. But this is like my bread and butter. Like,
Yes.
this is like...
Yes.
Like, this
Yeah.
fuels
Mhm.
me. This nurtures me so I can go on. Like,
Yeah.
like...
And it came so naturally to them to where it was
my
like
favorite part.
it was
where
like
it's
they
just
had been-
instinctual.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like they had been best friends forever when they literally just met.
Yeah.
Like
Or like just like really started to be
I love it so much. And like the way they were like they were as quippy as each other. Like they
Yeah.
were never gonna miss a beat. Like they
Yeah.
quipped right back with everything.
Yeah.
Anytime a conversation would start and I'd be like, oh, that could be awkward. No. Like one of them would quip back
Right.
with something.
Mhm.
And it was so good. Like
Mhm.
it fueled me. Like
Yeah.
it fueled me to keep going.
I highlighted on page 44. It says, he gives me a mug with Garfield the cat wearing a cowboy hat on it. And I literally said, marry this man, please.
Yeah.
Do you know what I said?
What did you say?
I said Charles would have loved that mug.
Literally, now that I think of
Literally.
Garfield, I have that stupid Garfield trend on my TikTok
Yeah.
all the time, and I go, oh, Charles.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Charles is not a real person. You know who else I think of? I think of freaking Bailey from the last thing he told me, because she talks about how she remembers being at the football game and it was Garfield orange, and that's what she remembered because she was
Oh
obsessed with
my
Stop
Garfield.
it. Why did you just do
gosh.
that?
And I can't not, like, anytime I see Garfield, I'm like, Charles and Bailey would love this.
I'm gonna cry.
These aren't real people.
Yeah.
My brain is so messed up.
Uh-huh.
I cannot see Garfield anywhere. And like with the movie coming out, I see it all the time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, Charles didn't even do nothing wrong. I love Garfield.
Yeah.
No, I'm always gonna think about that.
It's so bad.
That's all he loved too.
Yeah.
He
He
loved
didn't do
it.
anything.
I loved the scene. Okay, so whenever they went to the bar for the first time and then they came back drunk and were trying to unlock
Yes.
the
Yes.
unlock
Dude,
the
Gil was a G. I
Yeah.
loved Gil.
when it says we keep fighting for control of the doorknob, knocking each other out of the way in increasingly dramatic fashion until he almost knocks me over and just barely manages to catch me by pinning me to the wall with his hips. I said, this sounds so funny and incredibly cute. Like I can just imagine them
Like,
like being like,
like I'm ready for the rom-com movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat
There were
it up.
so many scenes in this where I just
You can
imagined
see it.
looking
Yeah.
out on a screen.
Yes.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I would eat this up. This would become one of my favorite movies of the year.
Same.
Like I
Yes.
literally don't think that I'd put it down.
Like I can't. And when she said page 29,
Yeah.
literally so early, she says, Miles is handsome, if not the kind of man to make your jaw drop and hands sweat on sight. That was Peter. TV handsome, Mom called it. The kind that knocks you off balance from the start. Miles is the other kind. The kind that's disarming enough that you
Mhm.
don't feel nervous talking to him or like you need to show your best angle until wham! Suddenly he's smiling at you with his messy hair and impish smirk, and you realize his hotness has been boiling around you so slowly that you missed it.
I
uh-huh.
highlighted the same thing. I was obsessed with that.
I was like, his hotness has been boiling around you so
Uh-huh.
slowly you missed it. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I can see him.
Yeah.
I see him.
I also
And he's perfect.
the next page after like whenever they were like drunk and getting back home, when he goes, I think we should just effing do it. He says, my heart spikes upward, my skin goes very hot, then very cold, and I was like, I was about to like
Already? I
already.
really thought so too.
And
I
then she goes,
thought like
what? And he goes, let's RSVP.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that was literally like an ice
I
pack.
said, haha,
Yeah. I
my
was like,
hand slapped in my mouth. I
got
literally
it.
went,
Got it.
yeah.
Because I, with them going to the bar so early on,
Yeah.
I thought like, is this going to be one of those like they have sex really early in the beginning and then
Mhm.
have to navigate?
Right, like
the
how
rest
they
of
feel.
this
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
But they just kept teasing us.
Yeah.
They just kept being teasers.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Whenever he was like, I think we should
Yeah.
just do it, I was like, yeah, you should actually.
And then he was like RSVP, and you're like, actually, I actually don't care if you do that.
Yeah. Of course
That's
you would
okay,
literally
fine.
say that. Yeah.
The way though, I love when she does the RSVP, says that they're going, and then she shows up and tells him that she accidentally told
Peter.
Peter that she was dating Miles.
love that
And I said,
part.
and then when he goes and he talks to him, he said that epic rules. How do you take it? And I said, marry him before I do.
He was the best the whole time. He was like, hell yeah, no, that's
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Even before that, didn't he like change the subject? Like she said, I can't remember like the dynamic, but it was so funny because he was like, "Are you trying to steal my TV?" And she was like, "No. What do you mean?" And then he was like, or she was like, "What do you have?" And he's like, "Food or whatever." And then she goes, "I accidentally told Peter that you're my boyfriend." And he goes, "Okay." And then he goes,
Yeah.
"Do you want my other half?" Like he completely like
He's
blows
like,
it blows it
"Here's
over.
your
Yeah.
sandwich."
It was some kind of like something like that. I just
Yeah,
remember being
no.
like, "That's so
I was like,
funny."
all right.
He was like,
And
okay.
He's
she's
like
like,
nonchalant
yeah,
about
and
it.
she was like, "Are you not mad?" And he's like, "Why would I be mad? That's hilarious."
I think
Like,
that's incredible, actually.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I was reading the part where, so right there, like whenever she's telling him that, and he's like making her coffee, and he said, "What, did you drunk dial Peter?" And she says, "No, he called me." And then he goes, "Wait, did we RSVP to their wedding last night?" She said, hearing it said aloud again, sends a full body shudder through me. Groaning, I drop my face against my forearms on the counter. Wait. This is the part that I highlighted. Miles presses his palm into my forehead and tips my face up so he can meet my eyes. I said, the visual of this is killing me. Because she's like leaned over on the counter and he just, wait.
Uh-huh.
Like just hand to forehead. It's like, wait, what?
And then when he gives
Like
her a
he
bite,
touches her so much.
and then
Yeah.
he gives her a bite of the sandwich.
Yes,
Like how
yes.
how
And
innocent.
then like wipes the food off of her or something, or like
Yeah.
I like he touches her in the littlest ways all the time. And so like the visual of him just being like, wait, what? Any excuse. The man was looking for any excuse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I'm eating it up.
Mm-hmm.
I like when Ashley and her start to get pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, I've loved Ashley.
I highlighted on page 71, and Daphne is complaining about Peter and Petra being together.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And she says, this is just like a bit of a conversation they said.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "I'm sorry, sweetie," Ashley says, swirling her glass, "but if Peter was going to break your heart now, he would have done it eventually." So what I say, Peter and Petra are soulmates, and it was going to happen sooner or later. This is the part that I highlighted.
Oh, it's so good.
Soulmates, she laughs. "No, I'm saying your ex is the little boy looking over someone else's shoulder, trying to figure out if the kid next to him has a better lunch. Only the lunchbox is shut, so even though he knows what his parents packed for him is pretty good, he'd still trade it just to open up that rusty little Batman lunchbox." And she said, "What is this metaphor, Ashley?"
So good.
But then after that, she says, "Just to be clear, I'm the sack lunch here." I say, "Says it ain't about the bag, babe." She says, "It's what's inside." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh,
No, I
Ashley
love
spitting
that analogy.
facts."
She had
Because
so many
it's
bangers.
so true. Like
Yeah.
people that
Mhm.
are like that are just like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, wait, what do you have? Well,
Yeah.
wait, what do you have?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd give up your odds
Yep.
just to see what someone else has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am-
I
I have a million, so if
So
you
do
want
I.
to go, you can go.
Mine's all the way back in chapter 6 because I just started
It's all
the part where her and Ashley get to the bar that he works at or the
I think
winery.
chapter 5. Yeah.
Yep. They get to the winery and they see him and so Miles waves or something. Wait, let me just go to it. How about I just do that?
I thought you'd just do that.
Miles slides his forearms across the glossy wooden bar.
No.
Well. It's loud enough to be heard over the room's ambient noise. If it isn't my adoring girlfriend.
It's
And
me.
they're not even together yet.
It's me.
I
Let's
should've
go
said girlfriend.
kiss.
I was like, what was my note? Let me go back.
I'm literally like, yes, that's me. Let's go kiss. I don't.
Yeah, it's me, your girlfriend.
I love that.
I
I
said,
was like, if she wasn't already in love with this man, that like
Dude.
would have like
uh
kind
huh.
of died it.
I said,
Like,
"Gee,
this is-
wait, I love
good.
him."
Like,
Yeah.
he's so
yeah,
good.
and like
so good.
literally every way.
Yeah,
Like he's amazing.
amazing.
Whenever they're talking about when Miles is like, oh, we should date, and she's like, yes, a shared cuckolding is the most fertile ground from which love could ever spring.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, that, and it would piss him off. And she's like, as you pointed out, they don't care. They're getting married, and they're getting married, Miles. And he said, yeah, 6 weeks ago, you were getting married. And she said, hey, if you're willing to keep reminding me of that daily, I can go ahead and rename my morning alarm something other than, wake up, you've been jilted, bitch. I love them. Like, so deeply.
Yeah.
So deeply.
It was just so like lighthearted and funny and witty and just yeah.
It's so good. Where's
Oh, I thought this was like a really like a nice like she has so many bangers. Things go smoother if you don't let people get a rise out of you, he says. If you give them control over how you feel, they'll always use it. I was like, that is so good.
That's like she said, every time I dole out a kernel of my history to someone who's not going to become a fixture in my life, a piece of me gets carried away somewhere I can never get it back.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they're at the bar and he comes up and he's like, oh, by the way, like, that's Katya. She thinks you're my girlfriend. She heard from Petra, like, you know, that whole thing. And he said, who told her we're sleeping together? He goes, yeah. She said, is that your girlfriend? And I was like, we have sex and we're in love. Someday when we have a baby, we're going to name her Sue Ellen after my mom. No, Daphne, I didn't tell her we're sleeping.
Like,
Like, it's my favorite thing.
it's so funny.
It's my favorite. Yeah. She said, is that your girlfriend? I was like, we have sex and we're in love. And when we have babies someday, we're naming her Sue Ellen after my mom.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that's what I said, Daphne.
Uh-huh.
I want to marry him. I want to marry him.
Yeah.
There's the part where they go to where he's taking her to Big Louie's.
Mhm.
And he's
Oh.
talking to her as they're on the way, and he says, "How is it possible you've lived here for 13 months I supply. 13 entire months, he says, and haven't had their Petoskey fries. He says, what are those? I say, Tuts, no wonder you're so depressed.
I love him.
But then it just like continues. They're just like going back and forth. She says, "Is this place in Petoskey? Are we driving an hour and a half for fries?" No, they're named after Petoskey stones, which are the country road has reached a four-way stop, and he essentially pulls over to look at me, Daphne. And then it says, "Such an air of disappointment every time you say my name." And I said, "The sexual tension, I can't take it."
Like my skin is on fire.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
Yeah.
Whenever he realizes that she like moans sometimes
Oh
when
yes.
she eats things.
Yeah.
When she says, "I catch him watching me as I take my first bite." What? One shoulder lifts in tandem with the corner of his mouth, just waiting to see if you moan again. My note literally just says, "I'm screaming."
Mm-hmm.
Like I oh my god, when they're everything is so good.
I know.
When she says, I thought about taking a video of myself giving you a lap dance, but I don't have anything to mount your phone on, so this was the next best thing. I will happily go back into the woods, find some sticks, and build you a tripod, Daphne.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Like off the rip. They basically are like, "Hey, we both think each other are very sexy and bangable."
Mm-hmm.
Like off the rip, they're like, "We would do each other."
Yeah.
High five. I'm obsessed.
I love it.
I'm obsessed. I actually am failing to breathe.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the context of this. Let me find it.
What chapter is it?
He said, "I don't think you should leave because I
It's
don't want you to
chapter
leave, and my
8.
happiness is very important." You heard Bob and Lenore.
Mm-hmm. It was
To Big Louise?
yeah.
Yeah.
About that was talking about the tiny little beach all the fudgies go. Is that the same part
Mhm.
or no?
What are you talking
Oh, I know.
This is whenever he's talking about the beach.
Mhm.
She's like that tiny little beach where all the fudgies go.
about? Oh yeah.
Or that's what he says. Anyways, and then she's like, "What's a fudgy?" And then he goes, "Daphne, Daphne, Daphne, Daphne."
Say my name again. Say my name again.
How is she not melting beside him?
Literally. And then he starts the car. Oh, and she goes, "Let me guess, I'm a clueless fool," I say, and he starts the car. "No, just a sweet, naive, beautiful little innocent raised in captivity by a man who loves wheatgrass." And I said, "Wow, I'm in love with this man."
I
Literally. Yes. Like the next chapter, chapter 9, I highlighted, "Miles ducks his head to peer into my eyes, a funny grin quirking his mouth. Do you want to go get into the car and listen to Adele?" And I literally said, "Marry him!"
Yes.
why aren't you married?
Why are you not?
Why aren't we
Why
married?
wouldn't you go into the car and listen to Adele with him?
Literally.
You know what? Great idea. Hadn't thought about it. Like, why aren't we doing that all the time?
Yeah.
I can't. After they go to the farmer's market and they get all their stuff, and then they're standing in the kitchen and they're making the asparagus, and they
Mhm.
like have that moment where they're like
Yeah.
getting like all up close and personal, and
Uh-huh.
because this is after. Whereas this is after they go to the lavender thing and they kiss because Peter's there, right?
Right.
Yes.
So then they're at home and they're cooking the asparagus, and they're like both kind of having this like replay moment in their heads. And he goes, "Shit, the asparagus." He tries to yank one smoking stalk off the grill, but jerks his hand back with a hiss, mumbling for the tongs before his second attempt to move them to the plate. Meanwhile, I'm standing there waiting for the fizz to settle. I felt it. I get it.
Yeah.
Me too.
My fizz never settled.
My fizz did
Yeah.
not settle this
Yeah.
entire novel.
No.
Nope.
Honestly, my fizz is kind of still like not settled. Like
Mhm.
I'm not quite settled.
Yeah.
Like it's just written so perfectly
Mhm.
well.
Another thing, like you had already talked about this, I just want to like whenever we're talking about like visually, like I can picture it. Whenever they're back on like the beach, and you were talking about he was like, "I'll happily go build you a tripod," and then the next part, and then she starts shivering from the icy cold, and then he goes, "Here." He draws me in against his chest so that we're almost fitted together,
How
like we're
dare
on a
you.
sled, him in back, me in front,
How dare
and his arms folded around mine, blocking the worst of the wind. I was like, I can literally just picture him being like, "Here." Like,
dare you.
I could feel. Oh my gosh, it was that TikTok. I could feel. Okay, start over. I could when he was like, "Here," I could like feel him wrapping around me, and I was like, and it reminds me of that TikTok where it's that sound where it's like you're reading the book and it's like you're not real, and then their boyfriends like grab their chin and then he goes
Oh my gosh,
like
yes,
that. I can't
yes.
remember what it says. He
I-
says I'm not real or something like that. Like it was literally like that. Like she gets you so
Like
like
you're
involved in the
engrossed.
story
Yeah.
that I could like hear and like feel that
Yeah.
Like it
whole
was
scene.
visceral.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
crazy.
the whole thing was absolutely. Whenever they go and get the stuff and they're making the pizza, and
Mhm.
he like waits for her to take the first bite, and he says, "There it is." How dare you?
Oh my god.
Wow.
Some
And my note just says, "I'm going to kill myself." Because he's obsessed with this like little noise she makes when
Yes.
she eats, and like
something I noticed that he does too is tucks her hair behind her ear.
all
He does
That-
it so often when he's just talking to her.
he's just like, yeah, anyway.
That
And like they're
Makes me
always
feral.
so close to one another.
Yeah.
Like regularly.
uh-huh.
Like anytime they're chit chatting, it's like he'll just like touch her chin.
the chin.
Yeah.
Or
the
he'll
chin-
just like move her hair. Or like he's always like holding her wrists.
Yeah.
Or holding
yeah.
her
drawing circles in her wrist.
wrist.
I could throw up. Actually, I could throw up.
I could absolutely puke right now.
Yeah, but the hair tucking. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like all the time,
Yeah.
and I loved it.
But
Like,
that's what's crazy. It's like she lived with him for what, like a month or so?
Was it
Mhm.
2 months, right?
Like before we like really started the book. And then like they just so quickly
Yeah.
get so comfortable, and
They
like
had something to
like
bond
their
over.
proximity
Uh-huh.
was just like
and like they weren't even dating yet. They haven't even expressed feelings yet,
Mhm.
and he's
No.
all like,
like
being
they're
so
just
tender
like
to her.
touchy and sweet and like
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 you know
Yeah.
you get it.
I get it. I get it.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Because they literally it's she says he draws back slowly, the kiss settling like a tail end of a fast moving storm, a tapering off rather than an abrupt stop. And I literally said, oh my god. And then right after that, a few pages later, my next highlight says, I wouldn't know the first thing about being a dad. He smiles faintly, tucking my hair behind my ear. It makes me feel like a 2-liter bottle of soda flipped upside down, all the bubbles suddenly rushing in the opposite direction. Like,
Like
Yeah.
I can't
Uh-huh.
I
stop it. I
whenever
can't do this.
whenever he
Yeah.
starts asking her about her laugh, he's like, and what's this like little chortle
The
that you're
chortle.
doing?
Oh yeah.
Like, what is this one? He says, no, don't be self-conscious. It's so fucking cute.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
dare you say that to me?
Literally, how dare you?
How dare you say that to me when you
How
know
dare you
how
make
I
me
feel?
cry?
How dare you say it when you know how I feel? I feel like you know how deeply unwell I am.
Oh my gosh. When him and Daphne get into that like makeout session and they're getting like really close to doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he gets the call from his sister like,
Yeah.
"Hey, like I'm here."
I wanted to
She
punch the lady in
says-
the freaking head.
She
Me.
says, "What exquisite timing for my identity crisis. He wants to do the smart thing and I want to have reckless sex with him." And I literally commented my note says, "Miles, what are you doing, bud?"
Yeah.
No, like I
What are you doing?
We are thinking here.
She said, he flashes an apologetic smile, pinches my chin a little. Even this little gesture is intensely hot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I'm also doing, like, not well.
Yeah. It's so funny you mentioned the hair tucking thing because I literally have a highlight here that says, he smiles faintly, tucking my hair behind my ear. And in all caps, I went, dude, I love him, WTF.
Yep.
Like,
I Also, Julia was such a fun character because, like, so many of the things that she did and said, I was like, I would want to punch her in the nose.
right.
Like, you're being so aggravating and annoying. But for Daphne, she was like, I don't mind it. I think she's sweet and fun. And it kind of, like, made me like her more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because whenever she would just, like, it would just be, like, dialogue or something, I'd be like, Julia, shut up.
Yeah.
Julia,
Yeah.
stop doing that.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And Daphne's like, oh, Julia.
Yeah.
Like she just kind of like adopted this big sister role like
Yeah.
very naturally. She was
Yeah,
like,
Mhm.
and Julia accepted her pretty quickly.
Yeah.
she did.
I was worried about that.
It was so cute.
I
Mhm.
worried I was worried that it would be like a whole thing of like protective little sister, like you better not do this to my brother. Like
Mhm.
I can see right through you, you know, like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
But it was perfect.
Gotcha.
She said, oh, like whenever she was like acting like they're dating and they're like, what? No, like we're not dating when Julia first gets there. And she says, that's not what Petra said. And Miles goes, you talked to Petra? And she goes, not in a Judas Iscariot way.
That's
Not
so
in a
good.
Judas Iscariot way.
Yeah.
Please calm down. I was like, that's
That's so funny.
hilarious.
There was this really sweet part that like actually made me tear up. It doesn't have anything to do with Miles, unfortunately. But whenever she's talking about Narnia being the first book that like she read or whatever,
Yeah.
and she says Narnia, I tell him now that one, now that one I've heard. Wait, I can't read actually. Narnia, I tell him now that one I've heard of. He says ever since Mr. Tumnus showed up at that snowy lamppost, this world was never going to quite cut it for me. I said, okay, that just made me tear up because same.
Yeah.
Like I remember.
That
Yeah.
I tried to think of like what was the first book that like really got me into reading, and I don't know. I feel like I can't remember,
Mm-hmm.
but like my mom's also a reader, so like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been reading stuff that was like too old for me since I was
Right.
Same.
reading.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
so I can't really remember, but like I remember the big moments.
Right.
And freaking the Chronicles of Narnia
Yeah, bro.
was insane.
Yeah.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go back and reread them
Yeah.
because I mean
Yeah,
I
me too.
probably haven't read them since elementary school.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I kind of want to reread them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might not reread all of them, but I like.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But that brought that back for me too. I was like, dang.
I know. I just
The,
you
the
go.
like
Yeah.
inhale.
You go first.
Okay. It's where they are trying to figure out what they want to do for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and Julia's there, and Julia says like, should we order pizza?
Oh,
And then it says he chances a glance at me, his voice a teasing scrape. I'm sure Daphne would love that. A whisper
can't.
shivers down my backbone. I love the sounds you make. And I was like, stop it right now. Like you literally are teasing each other in front of
Yeah.
your sister.
And they do it regularly. And they're like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
like we can't do anything.
Yeah.
But then they'll just
Mhm.
like, she'll like moan and they'll just look at each other, and I'm
Mhm.
like,
So flirty.
Yeah. And the fact that she
How
has to
dare
actively
you.
pick a food that she's not going to moan to.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And then Emily Henry had the literal audacity. You guys know me. She said the disjointed assortment of tattoos splashed across his chest. I said, frick! That's literally what I said. Because I was like, if he was not more perfect, like
dude, I'm
you just had
obsessed
to
with
add
the
a
like
little.
with the little Popeye anchor and the
Yeah.
Oh
Popeye
my
on
gosh,
his
yes.
leg. I'm
Yes.
And the mermaid.
obsessed. The mermaid
Whenever
has
what's it? Starfire was like, oh, what does that mean? And he's like, I don't know.
it
I just,
means it's a mermaid.
yeah. He's like, I just like the way it looked.
Ate her up. What was she gonna say? When he shows up at story time with Julia
Oh.
and he's trimmed his beard, she says, the thing it would seem Miles has been hiding all along is that he's diabolically handsome with angular cheekbones and a jaw that sort of looks like it might cut you if you were to run a hand over it, or your tongue, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Wait, which chapter is that one?
That is chapter 14.
Yeah. I put, okay, never mind. I'm okay. Oh, first whenever it says he shaved his beard, I went, no.
Same, I was like, why?
And then I said, okay, never mind. I'm okay with no beard. Proceed.
I'm all better now. Keep going.
I'm fine, actually.
I highlighted in chapter 14. I stare across the glistening turquoise water toward the shore of the island. It's not as far as I thought. It feels possible now that we could make it. And I put foreshadow, foreshadow, foreshadow.
No, literally. Whenever she's talking about, what are they talking about?
Oh,
He's late for something. Oh, it was whenever they're going. It was before they go kayaking,
right,
and
right,
he's
right.
late. And she's talking about her dad, like in her monologue. She says you can't force a person to show up, but you can learn a lesson when they don't. And he comes in and he's like, "Shit, I gave myself an extra 15 minutes, and there was no line, but then I got caught up talking to the barista. And anyway, I'm sorry, Daphne." And I highlighted it, and I said, "But he shows up. like, but he
Right.
still
Mhm.
shows
Right.
up. And
Yeah.
that's why that one time when he didn't, like, I actually was like sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
actually
Same.
sick.
Yep.
I was literally laying in bed and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and he like isn't there and I'm like, that's weird. And I could
Mhm.
tell it was the start of whatever the third act breakup was gonna
Mhm.
be.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like immediately, because obviously she's like, oh God, is something wrong? But I was like, that's clearly not where the book is going. He's
Yeah.
just not showing
Right.
up this
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And I just was, because I, like, you
Mhm.
become this person. Like, you
Yeah.
become the character. And so I'm
Mhm.
like, you know how we feel. Like, you know the traumas that we
Yeah.
have, and like,
Mhm.
you're not showing up.
Yeah.
Like, you're not here. And I was so upset, and I just
Mhm.
like went back in that note where I was like, but
Yeah.
at least he shows up. Like, we know he's
Mhm.
chronically late, but like, he shows up.
Yeah.
And so that one time I was like,
The
how
moment
dare you?
that Peter, the asshole,
Stop.
said,
I
"Oh, he's been helping Petra move all day." The way my stomach
I thought
Now
I
you're
was
jumping
going
so
Okay.
far.
I
ahead.
knew
That's fine.
she was going to when I brought up him
I'll
not
pause.
showing up
Pre-K pause. We will come back to that. Okay.
because
Jumping in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought I was gonna puke.
So there
Where
was
are
one
we?
part that quite literally made me sob. Like I
Mm.
genuinely, I sat on this couch and I cried.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when Daphne had learned that Peter and Petra had visited Sadie and Cooper.
Oh, I also cried at
Mhm.
that part.
I could not hold back my tears. I literally was like, I know how that feels, and I know how awful she must feel about that, especially it being her friend.
I literally
That
so many
she brought
years.
into the picture.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
said I'm actually nauseous. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Whenever she said, it's who posted the picture, it's who else is in it.
Mhm.
And I knew that she was gonna say it was Sadie.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like
And like, granted, I understand that like Peter is friends with Cooper,
I get it.
whatever, but the fact that like she's actively seeing them hang out and Sadie has not once reached out to her
Mhm.
during this time.
Yeah.
That was something I highlighted again at the end whenever her and Sadie like have their reconciliation,
Mhm.
which is great. And I get it from Sadie's perspective too, where like it wasn't like she was choosing between Peter and Daphne. It was like choosing between her husband and her best
Mhm.
friend, and like how hard is that?
Mhm.
But I was like, I just still don't think that's
No.
that's not good enough for me.
And
No.
that's not a good excuse to literally never contact me.
Right.
Like her world was just turned upside down.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to reach out to her. Like that's your job
Yeah.
as a
Mhm.
friend.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
You're not losing your husband to check in on your friend.
No.
Especially
absolutely
when
not.
Daphne was not in the wrong and everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Like that was common knowledge. Like even Peter's mom texted her and was like, thinking of you, so
Mhm.
sorry. Which like as the mother of him, like you're not just gonna trash him if
Right,
you're like
right,
a decent
right.
person, you know.
Right.
Right,
You're not just gonna trash talk your son. But like even that acknowledgement says something.
right.
Like you know that
Mhm.
your kid's the one that did something wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone is aware of the fact that like Daphne's the one that got screwed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I felt like so viscerally
Yeah.
like seeing seeing the
Mhm.
four of them together like in what was their
Yeah.
place. And like if I feel like if that was any like right all our situations, right? Like all of our husbands are best friends and like
Mhm.
we're
Right.
friends and God forbid
Right.
anything happened, like it would be the worst thing in the entire world.
Mhm.
But like I just feel like we would never stop talking.
Right.
No.
And so like if y'all had to text me and you're like, hey, we're all going out to lunch and like Juan's bringing the new girl, I'd be like, oh, I'll be at home puking, come over after? And you'd be like, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And then if somebody posts something, if something gets posted, at least I knew it was happening.
Mhm.
Right, right.
Because
Mhm.
like I feel like we wouldn't lose our communication
No.
either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are friends separately
Right.
from them being friends.
And even if you're not there in person, like, why have you not once
Yeah.
reached out to her to make sure she was okay?
Yeah.
Like, how is she faring with this whole situation?
Uh-huh.
Like,
I don't
and then to go ahead and like, you see her on socials. And,
right. And then
Mhm.
Sadie's the one that posted it.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
or maybe Cooper posted it. One of them posted it. I can't remember. But I just
Still.
Yeah, that made me so sick just
Yeah.
reading that. And
Yeah.
I was like, I literally imagined it too. And like, once again, like a cinematic form. I'm like,
Mhm.
I could see her like stumbling upon this
And you
post
just-
and just breaking down.
like just the life
Mhm.
drains out
Yeah.
of you.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
That actually.
Just that realization, because you for the longest time, for this whole time that you've been apart from Peter, you've had this whole thought process of, well, maybe we're okay and she's just scared to reach out. Well, maybe it's this and I just haven't heard from her. Or maybe, it's like a bunch of maybes.
Mhm.
And then it
Mhm.
just solidifies it right in front of you
Yeah.
that no, it's just because of Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are still hanging out with him. She hasn't reached out to you. She's not going to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
It literally made me sit and think, like, I'm so thankful I don't have, like, I, like, ran through the list of my friends in my head, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have friends that would do that to me.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Because, and granted, I'm sure she didn't think that of Sadie prior,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but, like, I hated that.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff I have for that chapter is whenever, like, Miles is leaving and he's like, oh, I can't do this Sunday, but I have a thing Saturday night. Do you want to go with me? And she says, sorry, maybe next time. And I said, no, absolutely not. You have to go.
Yeah.
And then when she texted him and said, I'm in for Saturday,
Mhm.
I said, thank God.
Yeah, literally.
I love
At the end of that chapter, I believe, chapter 16,
mm-hmm.
where it's Ashley, I believe
Ugh.
Ashley's taking her to the poker night for the first
Mhm.
time. And I want to say it's on their way home.
Yeah, when they're catching the cab
Yeah.
leaving.
So, she's talking about, oh, yeah, literally, yeah, the
Exactly,
last
like-
sentence. It says, Ashley, I say. She says, thank you, I say, really. She rolls her eyes. We needed a fifth. I shake my head. Not just that. For being my friend, for still giving me a chance after the last year. Her ever blunt features soften. You know, she says, I needed one too. I'm glad it could be me, I tell her. Right back at you. The cab driver flashes his lights at us, and with our arms slung over each other's shoulders, we wobble down the driveway to meet him. And I literally highlighted that last sentence. It says,
mhm.
for reasons I don't completely understand, I feel like I could cry. I was like, me too. I'm sorry.
Me too.
Yeah. Like, girls getting to be girls together
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
will get me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to get me every single time.
Mhm.
I think that's why the Sadie thing just, like, killed me.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Yeah.
I can't stand people. I can't stand grown women that aren't girls.
Yeah.
How are you not a girl's girl?
Right.
How do you not, like, how I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
get that some girls are like, oh yeah, I've just always, like, been better friends with guys. I'm like, that's fine, but, like, you don't have girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't
Yeah.
imagine not having girls around me
Yeah.
I
supporting me.
cannot fathom it.
Mm-mm.
I can't fathom it. It, like,
That's kind of how she said with Sadie, though.
yeah.
She
'cause
says
said
Sadie grew up with brothers and never really
Mhm.
hung out with the girls. It was mostly like
Mhm.
guy friends. And then
Mhm.
for her and Daphne to be friends, it was very different for Sadie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe that's also another reason why she's.
That's why I just
Yeah.
loved her and Ashley.
Yeah.
Like, in the very beginning, whenever she was talking about Ashley being, like, kind of scary and, like, very, like, harsh, I was like, I think we're gonna love her.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that we're gonna be best friends.
That's always how they introduce them, right?
I
Uh-huh.
love it. I love it. They're so
Shane.
cute.
You know what I mean.
An ass. I love him.
There is the part where they go to
Prom.
prom.
I literally, when in the first line where it says senior prom reads the silver banner, I highlighted it and I said seniors.
Tell me why.
Yes.
Whenever I first saw senior prom, my mind literally went to senior citizens. Because he's
Yes.
around old people
Yeah,
all the time.
same.
Yeah.
So I was like, senior
Yeah,
prom.
I never once thought it was like high school.
No.
prom.
And then whenever they started talking about the dresses, and I was like, oh, I guess like maybe like high school seniors question mark. And then, but then he's like,
It's like a fundraiser.
but then he talked about it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, no, it was literally seniors, like
I
senior citizens.
love it so
I love when
much.
they see Petra and Peter together.
That was the part that I
Uh-huh.
read as we're, like, parking at the movie theater last night.
Ah,
And she says,
it's the worst part to
he's
sit
like, what do you want to do? Like, are we leaving? Do you want to stay? Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And she's like, 2 shots of whiskey, please. We're staying.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mhm.
I have to go watch TASM too.
No.
I love the part whenever she like reads the sign and then she goes, "What?" I say. Miles says, "Don't worry." Miles puts the car in park. It's going to get a lot weirder.
I
I
love
said he's so funny and cute. Like who says
No,
that? Like don't
literally.
worry, it's gonna get a lot
love
weirder.
it.
That's
I love
so
the whole
funny.
idea of this little like senior prom. I think
Yeah.
it's so fun. It's honestly kind of giving Strawberry Ball, except Strawberry Ball is
Mm.
like all ages. I just want old people.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
I'd go.
When they were like meeting up, or when they saw Petra and Peter like
Ugh.
walking towards them, and then they have this whole like interaction of just jabs at each other,
It was
little
awful.
jabs. I'm just like, you guys act like you're okay with each other, and then here you are blatantly rude to their faces.
And like Petra and Peter are the ones making the
Yeah.
comments.
Right,
Peter's
right.
like
And
always.
they're the problem.
Yeah.
Like I
Mhm.
don't understand.
Mhm.
Like she's like, oh, I love this dress. It's so different. Your usual style is so buttoned up. Okay, first of all,
And then he says, or a librarian. And
yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I highlighted that part.
Ugh. And then when Miles is like, "I've always had a thing for librarians," I said, "Period."
My note where he says or librarian, I said die.
Die.
That's all I said.
Yeah.
when it gets down to it, it literally says, I've always had to think about that. He says, Petra says, about what? And he's hot librarians. He says, and looking down at me with a fake grin that hits my heart like the first shock of a defibrillator.
The way whenever it talks about how he grabs her
He
head
puts
and
his
like
hand around her.
pulls her closer,
Yes.
it's all that I can visualize. I'm
Yep.
like,
He's got an arm hooked around her
Yes.
waist, and she's set a hand. Oh wait, well this is Peter.
Yeah.
But when Peter makes the comment of saying, "You've been harboring a secret bartender fantasy,"
First of all, eat
Choke.
shit.
yeah,
maybe choke.
literally,
Also,
maybe choke
maybe.
actually. Eat glass.
Eat glass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
swallow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a
Yeah.
really good idea, actually.
I highlighted the part after that, where she says, "No," I say firmly, turning into Miles. I loop my own arms around his waist, basically propping my boobs up on his chest and gazing into his eyes as I say, "But the roommate thing is pretty hot." Miles' pupils flare as he takes the cue, one hand cupping my jaw, and kisses me.
What a slay, honestly.
I felt that one.
Uh-huh.
The fizz is fizzing.
The
Yeah.
fizz is fizzing. It's
I-
yeah.
And the fact that they just go straight into like an absolute makeout there for a second.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Excuse us, I've been waiting all week
Yep.
to dance with Daphne." And they go out onto the dance floor. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trembling.
Yeah.
I'm so deeply unwell.
Yeah.
And then everything after that, whenever she like has her little freak out, I'm
Uh-huh.
like totally valid.
Right.
Because it's like at this point they already had the makeout on the couch where
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, clearly we actually want each other, but
Yeah.
this is a bad idea, let's not. And then whenever they're playing pretend, it's so like visceral and they already have all the tension.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I too would be like, okay, I can't.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, does it seem like I don't really want you? And then pins her up against the effing truck. And I was like,
Literally, when it said she was running out, I said, "What? Why?"
I know, literally. I was like, "Girl, where you going?" I didn't highlight or know anything from this because I was
Because
so
I was reading it
engrossed.
Yeah.
so
I was
Yes.
reading it so fast and I was so engrossed. I did not have time. I couldn't.
No,
Think about it.
same. I just flew through it. I couldn't deal. Whenever I started freaking out, but she said where is it?
No, literally, I had my next highlights on 252. So I went from 207 to 252, 50 whole pages.
No,
Yeah.
literally. I was stressing because the last line of the chapter was, but I don't. Instead, I step back, then I turn and run. And I was like, what? And I couldn't even highlight it because I had to keep going. But then immediately it was Daphne. Miles calls jogging after me. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Because you know in the books when they don't go after them?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that's when the breakup starts. And
Yep.
I'm like, no.
I don't know if y'all noticed this, just like really quick. Chapter 18 was the first chapter where she didn't count down the days.
Oh, I highlighted.
Yeah,
And I highlighted the number and I said, she stopped counting down the days. Because like I immediately noticed, I was like,
There was one chapter where it said,
If
"If I still want to."
Uh-huh.
I highlighted that one too.
I also said, you, if I still want to, I said, you don't, you whore.
You don't, you won't. And it has to be said in that accent.
Yes,
You don't, you won't.
Yo.
Oh my god. After they like make out in the truck and he's like, gets anxious and kind of like tells her
Mhm.
everything about like his parents, which was like, I love you.
Mhm.
And then he says, that was my complaint. What have you got? She said, are we playing whiny babies now?
Oh,
I'm
yes.
obsessed. And she said, well, I'm not a huge fan of global warming. He said, I hear the Great Barrier Reef is in trouble. The wealth gap is ridiculous. And insurance is way too fucking expensive. Not to mention, all day long, my sock kept getting caught under my heel. He laughs a little, touches my chin. The moment feels like the meniscus of a glass, like any second it might spill over.
What a sentence.
Oh,
What a
Like,
statement.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah.
She put everything into this.
Yeah.
I need someone to check in on Emily Henry because she put everything in this.
Yeah. She.
Right?
Never mind.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I had the exact same thought and had to bypass it.
I did lie because I actually did. I did make a note whenever
Wait,
whenever she runs.
I still want
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't. Instead, I step back. Then I turn and I run. I said, "WTF, Daphne? Why you running,
Facts.
girl?"
to. Why are you running? Why?
Miles says, "Why are you running?"
But that was pretty good.
I need a book. I need a book where all the banter is just old Vine memes.
Jordan.
That's what we use. Oh, God, I'm obsessed.
Oh, there's another ear tucking part where I said this ear tucking makes me feral. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all I really had. So as long as you got it.
My next highlight is from when Starfire gets introduced.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, you
what chapter
you
is that?
jumped to 250, right?
Yeah. So we have anything in that?
Yeah, I'm looking. Also, I just love that like Julia and Ashley just like became besties.
Yeah.
Oh, me
quickly.
too.
Yeah.
It like worked so well.
Yeah.
I loved them.
Whenever she got stuck in the dress
Oh,
and she says it glides down a few inches like the zipper, then snags, I said, "Oh yeah, it does. Get that man to help you."
When he starts listening to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and he's texting her things, and he's like, I want to live with the beavers, and what is Turkish Delight, and Edmund needs to chill.
Yeah.
That was so real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I love them all so much.
How to cope. How to cope.
How to cope.
I need to write a self-help book. How to
Yeah.
recover from rom-coms.
Literally.
Because I'm so deeply unwell.
Oh, I have stuff after 250, so I'll wait.
Okay.
Where's this one? Whenever, like, before she tries on the dress, she says, I am the woman who was supposed to be swallowed by that dress, and now it's cascading directly into Julia's face, a raging waterfall of my mistakes. It takes several seconds, during which she's utterly frozen, for everything to come tumbling out. It's like something out of I Love Lucy or the Dick Van Dyke Show. When it's finally over, we're all left staring. Oh, honey, Ashley says, tell me you didn't keep the dress.
Yeah.
That was another one of the moments where, like, Julia's frustrating me, but Daphne seems so chill.
Right.
Mhm.
Because that was whenever she showed up with, like, all the boxes and was rearranging the living room and was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, no, like, I'm moving here. And Miles was like, I have to go to work. What is happening?
Mhm.
Right.
And then she just, like, flings open the closet and everything starts spilling out. And I'm like, I would hit her.
Yeah.
I would hit her. I'd be like, clean
You're
up
not
my
paying
mess.
the rent here.
Clean up
Yeah.
my mess.
Mm-hmm.
But Daphne's just like, I should probably go through it anyway. And they're like, girlies might.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. They make a little
They
girl
make
out
it
of
so
it.
cute.
Drink
Mhm.
wine, try on their stuff.
Yeah.
But talk about the gall of them just leaving while she's in the bathroom putting on the
literally.
dress.
What?
I thought maybe they were trying to set something up because they knew like Miles was
Right.
home, and so they're like, oh, like let's leave, like haha,
Mhm.
that's funny.
Right.
Like if they drank enough, but no, they were just like, we're gonna go get milkshakes. So I'm just supposed to sit in this dress until you get back because you wanted to see it so daggone bad.
Right.
I just, like, whether Miles gets home or not, she's just supposed to stand there in
Mhm.
her wedding dress until you get back? You couldn't wait 30 seconds? What are we doing?
Uh-huh.
God. Pain in my tail. Um,
Mhm.
I just, whenever he's getting her out of the dress, and, he says, "You ready to kick her out?" She said, "I like having her here, I promise. Can I do anything?" He says, "Nah, this is enough. I'm not doing anything," I put out. The corner of his mouth twitches. Then why do I feel better?
Oh. Oh.
Why do I feel
I'm
dead
melting,
inside?
literally.
Why do I feel absolutely deceased?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of being alive anymore when this is a book that I've read?
Mhm.
Literally makes me antsy.
Yeah. Literally.
Right as her dad and Starfire get there, he says, "Hey kids, surprise!" I literally highlighted it and I just said, "We don't like surprises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That part.
We don't like them.
Mm-mm.
Me and Daphne,
Yeah.
we're one person and we don't like them."
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
God, I was so irritated.
Jeez.
When Starfire's introduced,
Yes.
Oh my God.
I highlighted a couple things because one of them I just thought that she explained it super well, and then another one just made me cackle. But page 252,
Mhm.
she's just been introduced. She says, "I have barely any time to register Starfire's bubblegum pink lip gloss before she's wrapping me in a bone-crunching hug that smells like the inside of a Bath and Body Works minutes after a gaggle of preteens rolled through, hyped up on frappuccinos." And I was like,
I could
okay, but
feel
I
it.
was one of those
Yes,
gaggle of preteens hyped up on
Yes.
frappuccinos
Yeah.
walking to the Bath and Body Works.
absolutely.
Imagery, insane.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Nailed it.
Mhm.
And then the next part on 258, it says,
I also have it highlighted. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
"And after everything she endured on the Titanic, who can blame her for being so conscious?" I said STFU.
Dude, I almost lost it when she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yes, I was rich and he was poor," and I was
Uh-huh.
like, "What is
When
happening?"
she goes, "What movie?"
I was literally cackling. I could not hold it
Yeah.
together.
I absolutely couldn't.
No.
Starfire is still smiling, like if she lets even the corners of her lips touch, the apocalypse might get triggered. And after everything she endured on the Titanic, who can blame her for being so cautious?
She's so funny.
I'm out. I'm
Oh.
out.
I genuinely
That's
liked her
insane.
character though.
Yeah.
Like the way
She
that
was
she set
so
her up.
funny.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I love you.
Whenever they're talking about like them staying in town for a couple days, and she says, "We don't have a guest room." I highlighted it and I said, "One bed trope."
One bedroom.
And then he says, "No, I got us a motel room," and I said, "Rip."
Boo.
Also, why didn't they share a bed? Boo.
Literally. Why
Right.
can't wait till 5 pages before the book was over?
They put Julia in his room, right?
And
And
then
he's-
put her in his bed.
Oh, that's right, because he took the couch.
Mhm.
Lame.
Yeah. Whenever she was.
Lame.
Once it got
Sorry,
back to
Heather.
that part, like that, I think it's in like 2 chapters or something. Whenever she says like, "Dad, this place is 40 minutes away, and all the reviews say bed bugs and cockroaches,"
Mhm.
I was like, "One bed trope, come back again." And then they still didn't.
And when he was like, "Thanks for making my bed," and she was like, "What are you
What do
talking
you
about?"
mean? What do you mean? Your
And
bed?
he's like, "You're taking my bed. I'm taking the couch."
She's like, "Who are you to say that?" And he's like, "The person who owns the couch." And I was like,
Yes, sir.
"Yes, sir."
Mhm. I will sit. I'm sat. I'm sat.
I'm sat.
Whenever you want me to sit.
I'm
sir.
sat.
I'm sat.
Literally.
Mhm.
When she says, "I hate that I feel guilt right now. I don't want to feel like Dad can still trigger that in me. Like all I want is to make him happy, make him proud, earn his shine." And I was like, I like felt the whiplash, right? Of like, your dad is so like uncertain and unsteady and you can't rely on him, and then he comes in and he's so great and he's so wonderful, and she like, you can't accept it, you can't like just take it at face value. And she said, "I don't want to go back to feeling unsteady. I don't want it to hurt every time he lets me down." She said, "Life isn't a competition and neither is love, but I'm still the loser."
I highlighted that part too.
Yep. Yep.
God. I just wanted to
That was
hug
so
her.
good.
When they're on the lawn and they're all together and they're talking.
Oh.
I highlighted this part here where she's talking about people change. I can, Dad can.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Miles, it says Miles shifts in the grass beside me, his knee brushing mine like a question. Are you there? Are you okay? I can be. She says I can be here in the moment instead of watching for smoke ready to run. And I was like it's just
Mhm.
like she's trying so hard not to expect the worst
Mhm.
and to be anxious that the worst is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It hits so hard.
And I love that Emily Henry does that. Like with her, like she makes Daphne so relatable in the
Mhm.
sense that like I could feel that. Like I felt that. I still feel that sometimes. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
the way that that's like another reason like she makes you feel like Daphne because
Yeah.
of like all the relatable feelings.
Something about Daphne that I like truly resonated with was when she explained like her life growing up in terms of how she moved around a lot because
Mhm.
I've been there. And then her talking about like making friends, and then at one point she just like would stop making friends and she would
Mhm.
stop like opening up to people and like being her true self, like
Mm-hmm. Because she talks about it felt like she was like giving pieces of herself away.
right.
Mhm.
And I completely understand it because I've literally been in her shoes, and it's just it feels crazy to like understand her rationale for how she feels about Sadie and why Sadie's like betrayal, not really betrayal, but her betrayal hurts her so badly
Mhm.
because she doesn't give these pieces away to just anybody
No.
anymore.
Yeah.
And it's literally very specifically chosen people.
Like the one person who was her person.
Yes. And the fact that she picked her and she's like just like rejected her now, it's just like literally a stab to the heart. Like you growing up the way that you did, this is how you cherish your friendships,
Mhm.
and your friend doesn't understand that. And it just like it was very surreal to read it
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I understand and I get it. And like me and Daphne, we're one.
No,
Right.
literally.
Same. Yeah.
That's like whenever Miles came in that morning of like during story hour,
Mm-hmm.
and she was
Mhm.
like, something's off, and I knew it. I was like, they freaking left. They
Yep.
left again.
Yep.
Mhm.
And after she said that they like met the guy that told him that he had a place on Mackinac Island, I was like,
Yep.
is something
Mhm.
gonna happen? And then when Miles came in acting weird, I was like,
Yeah.
damn
Yeah.
it, they left. They left again.
Well, when she comes home from work and she's like, hey, take me somewhere, anywhere, please.
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks her out, or they drive out, and then she's out there,
Mm.
and he stops and he says, it's just it says no one, just us and a couple of time bleached, hollowed out pieces of driftwood strewn down the shore. And he says, this, he says, is my favorite beach. And I had that and I said, literally tears. Literally
Mhm.
tears. Because he talked about he doesn't just show his beach to anybody.
Mhm.
And I literally, quite literally, was sobbing.
I literally knew it when she said we pull over, because he's always pulling over in just like random spots, and I was like,
right.
and I remember the first beach was like similar, like they parked in a random spot and then had to walk a little ways.
Mhm.
And so when she said they just pulled over, she said, where are we? And he opens his door and it says, somewhere new. I literally said, favorite beach.
Yeah.
In all caps. I was like, is this it? Is this favorite beach? And then when she starts running into the water and she's like, are you coming? And she says, I see him laugh but can't hear it, and I feel robbed of the sound.
Oh, that got me.
yeah.
I love that
I just
part.
got goosebumps
Oh.
from that.
Like,
I
that's
feel robbed of
incredible.
the sound.
Yeah.
I literally saw, like, in Daphne's perspective, I saw it.
Like, you see him, like,
Yeah.
down.
Mm.
Like,
I
I could puke.
I could
I
see it.
let my eyes open, and now the sight of him, that messy hair, his sun-freckled face and scruffy jaw, those chocolate brown eyes, it cuts through my veins, 1,000 wakes from 1,000 little boats, with Miles on their sails, headed straight toward my heart. Thank you for being here, I murmur. His eyes settle softly on me. I already told you. I didn't do it to be nice.
That whole, like, all those conversations that they were having where he was
Mhm.
like, does my opinion not mean anything to you? And she was like, no, like, of course it does. It just, like, her brain can't wrap around it because she thinks, like, he's nice. And he's like, why are you discrediting me?
Mhm.
Right.
Like, and just saying that I'm nice. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be with you.
Mhm.
I love when
want
he
to
was
be
like-
around you.
Yeah, I love when he was like, have you not ever considered the fact that I may be selfish? that I enjoy spending time with you and I
I
want
want
to
you
do
here
things
because
with you.
I want you here.
Yeah. Yeah. What page was that?
290.
Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm like on track.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're about to be
we're at
300.
sexy time.
Yeah.
We're at sexy
That's literally my next highlight.
Yeah. I didn't highlight any of sexy time. I just lived in it.
I did a little
I highlighted he tips his when they woke up the next morning
Oh yeah, I have
because I
stuff
was
later.
very
Yeah.
consumed in sexy
Mhm.
time. But it says he tips his face up to look at me. Are you hungry? Since I met you, I say constantly, and I was like, oh,
I think I'm not.
same.
I'm not there yet. I realized I have one thing before that. But I read that and I immediately thought back to the very beginning when Peter comes and tells her that he's leaving with Petra. And she says, I feel like I could vomit, but I haven't eaten all day. Like I forgot to eat all day.
Yeah.
Like she just like doesn't think to like feed herself and care
Right.
for herself. She's
Mhm.
doing so many other things. And like ever since she's been with Peter, like he's always like, "Are you hungry? Starving. Are you hungry?"
Mhm.
Since I met you, constantly. Like I just
Yeah.
like the
Mhm.
differences in herself. And like when she puts the dress on, she's like, now it's a size and a half too small. Like, good for you.
Good for you,
Yeah.
Queen.
Like I love it so much.
Yeah.
I have a few highlights. They're not anything significant, but whenever it says he gets the door unlocked, pulls me into the dark apartment, pushes me against the door, I said yes, 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 yes. And then, oh wait, I'm gonna read this. Now I understand that the breezy this is page 292. Now I understand that the breezy carefree Miles I first met is only his topmost layer, that his nonchalant way of moving through the world is a product of self-control, but beneath that surface he wants the last bite of cheesecake, the final sip of wine, the bracing cool of the lake, to be kissed, to be held, to be protected.
I can't breathe.
Yeah.
No.
Like I just want to hold him. Afterwards, whenever she's like laughing, he's like, "Why are you laughing?" She's like, "Because I'm happy, I guess." And like they're just like cute and whatever. And then they're making the pancakes, and he said, "Do you know how often you do that? Do what? Act like my opinion doesn't matter to you. Of course it matters. Everything I say, it's like, oh, of course you'd say that, Miles. You're just so nice, or you don't get it because you're you, or my new favorite, you're just like my asshole dad." And she's like, "That's not what I meant at all." And he said, "You said no one wants you around. What about me? What about you? Me wanting you doesn't count? A fiery heat wave, a series of them, one after another. Me wanting you, me wanting you, me wanting you." I was like, me wanting you. Like, oh. She said, "It counts." When he said, "You're my roommate and my best friend and the woman I just slept with," I'm unwell. Oh my God. When he starts talking about, like when they're talking about her dad and all that, and he's explaining that like, she's like, "I make people feel like their worst selves." And he's like, "No, you make people like, you want all of a person, like you love all of a person, and it's hard whenever they're keeping part of themselves hidden." He said, "He kisses the center of my palm, heat gathers in my belly, it builds between us. Just standing there in the kitchen with him is in the top 3 most erotic moments of my life."
And then it's like shortly after that, I think. Blah blah blah. I lift my face and he brushes his nose back. This is page 300. "You're worth it, Daphne," he says, hands soft on my jaw and eyes closed. "Miles," I whisper. "I do," I say. "I do want all those parts of you." His eyes open, molten warm. "Good," he says. "They want you too." Then he kisses me. It's perfect. No, better than that. It's every part of him at once. "My room or yours?" I ask. "Yours," he says. "First, yours." I said, I'm on freaking cloud 9 right now, baby.
Yeah.
I can't,
And then it goes insanely downhill after that.
It does.
dude, immediately, because she literally immediately gets to work the next day, and I thought about it. I thought about it whenever she was like having her bad day. And was like, "Oh, let's Peter or not Peter, fuck, Miles, take me out." And I was like,
Yep.
and in my head, I was like, maybe that was the next weekend. Maybe it's fine because I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about like when was she supposed to hang out with Ashley? And then I was like, maybe it's the next weekend. And then she literally got to work and was like, oh shit,
Mhm.
Ashley's birthday was 2 days ago. And I was like, no, why did we go mess it up? Why did
Mhm.
we do it? And the way Ashley immediately was like, listen, you found your we. Like you've been a we girl and you found your we person again. And I was like, no,
Mhm.
no.
Back to what
She
I
was
was
like, and I called you 9 times.
Yeah.
I
Back
did it
to
again.
what I was saying earlier. Whenever she oh wait, so
We're still not quite
we're
there
still
yet.
not quite there. Never mind. Actually, I have highlights before that. Never mind.
Mine
Whenever-
has not been highlighted until the
Oh, okay.
crazy stuff.
When she says Miles doesn't come home that night, I said, "What the hell?"
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh wait, you're talking about
this is after.
After he stands her up and doesn't pick her up
Yeah,
at the
after-
library.
yeah.
okay, wait, I have a highlight before that.
Okay.
I thought you were saying like in between their sexy stuff and then him
Oh,
standing
no.
her up. Okay.
No, because she doesn't talk to Peter until a
Right.
couple days
Yeah.
after.
I'm just gonna share something that I highlighted in between that. It's when she gets stood up, he doesn't pick her up. She starts to walk towards the apartment, and then she gets the call from the job,
Oh,
to get the interview.
yeah.
and then she literally says, fantastic, she says. Could you just send us your availability and we'll get something set up? I clear my throat. I'll check my calendar as soon as I get home. Home. I ignore the ping in my heart at that word. It's just an apartment. It's never been mine. And I highlighted that and I literally said, no, if it wants to pop up. Daphne, for the love of God, please just for once stop self-sabotaging.
Mhm.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, when he stood her up that one time, I was like, I feel sick. Like, why don't do this? You know how we feel. But I was also like, Daphne, you have to give, like, this is Miles' first mess up. It's one. This
Yeah.
is one. Let him explain himself.
Mhm.
But then, like, he didn't come home that night. And obviously we know that, like, he went up to Mackinac Island.
Mhm.
But, like, why not, like, just say, like, I don't know.
And
don't
I
know.
love Miles so much, but I hate
I
the
hated whole-
non-texting.
Yeah.
Also not texting clearly. Also like not answering my phone. But the whole back and forth of like she missed his call, he missed her call, didn't leave a voicemail. Like I
The
just
bad
even
communication
yeah.
kills
Even
me.
if
Yeah.
they weren't at the point where they needed to tell each other every single little thing they were doing.
Right.
Even if you were just like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a few nights. Like, is that so hard?
Right.
Is that so
But, like-
difficult to let her know?
But like
Yeah.
she deserved more than that even. Because
Right.
now we're like sleeping together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
We clearly have feelings
like
for each other.
we're clearly doing
Well,
something.
especially
Yeah.
when she's getting information that Petra's involved. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, so once that happened.
Yeah, I want to continue. So when Peter says, first
where's
of all, when
that?
Peter gets there, I'm like, Peter coming here is a bad idea. Don't
Peter.
let him in.
She said, Peter who?
Peter, yeah. And then literally the audacity of this man to be
Mhm.
like, I was wrong. You were right. I never should have gone back to Petra. It was just a fleeting thing. I got scared of marriage, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, Petra broke it off, didn't she? And the way that he's just expecting her to come back.
Immediately.
And thank God,
He's
Daphne.
like, so do you want me to help you get your stuff?
And the way that she's like, no, sorry, that ship sailed a long time ago.
He just assumes that she's going to like
Yeah.
drop everything and go
Ugh.
back with him.
And then
Makes my
he's
skin
almost
crawl.
out the door,
They
and
were so close.
and he's like, they're gonna get back together, right? And she's like, And he goes, yeah, he's been helping her all weekend move. My stomach hollowed out. Like my heart sunk to my stomach, and I immediately was like sick because I was like, I know for a fact that Miles would not do anything like that.
No,
But just the
I
fact
literally
that
have
this,
chills.
yeah, the fact that he said it the way he said it, and the fact that we have no information, and he's been gone overnight. What else are
Yep.
you gonna think?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I knew what Daphne would think, and she would immediately retreat. And
Mhm.
so I was sick at the fact that like Miles had not explained himself, and I was sick at the fact that like even I had doubt at like I was like being Daphne in the sense that I was like, what did Miles go back to
Here's-
Petra? Did he like?
Like
I was
my
having
problem
doubts.
was knowing how Emily Henry writes and knowing that like she writes like happily ever afters and whatever,
Mhm.
thank God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, clearly this is something that we get over. This is
Mhm.
kind of like we were talking about whenever we were talking about like the stuff that we've written, where it's like hard to come up with conflict because you don't want the conflict to like totally damn your character.
Right.
Yes.
And so I was like, this is damning.
Yeah.
Like this is damning. Like the fact that honestly, even just what he did, even just going and helping her move and saying absolutely nothing to Daphne
Mhm.
Yeah.
when y'all had like crossed that line, you weren't just friends anymore, you weren't just roommates anymore.
Mhm.
Like that hurts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That hurts so bad. And so I was really scared about him also being gone overnight because I was
Mhm.
like, this is one of those things that like, how do you write them getting over it?
Yeah.
How do you write Daphne like coming back
Mhm.
to him? Because that
Especially when
eats me up.
he very poorly explained it whenever he picked, because like whenever he came with the Jeep, I was like,
Oh
oh, thank
my
God, he's
God.
back and he's happy. And then the
I
way that
wanted to
he
punch him in the
didn't,
nose.
I wasn't even mad, yeah, because he didn't immediately tell her that, yeah, I was with Petra. And then whenever she got it out of him, he did a very, understandably, like she was frazzled, but he did a very poor job of trying to explain himself. Granted,
The
Daphne,
miscommunication is
yeah.
just.
Granted, Daphne didn't really give him time or give him the opportunity because she was kind of like interrupting, and she was also just like so frazzled. And she was like, you know what? I can't do this. I
But
need to
he
leave.
wasn't going to say anything at first. He said, I didn't leave the state. I woke up and something came up. A friend needed help and I lost track
Yeah.
of time.
Like
And
she had
she's
to
like,
get it out of him.
who?
Mhm.
Please just tell me who. And he was like, Petra. She was like, okay.
Mhm.
And he was like, she just needed to borrow my truck to move some stuff. And like I said, I got caught up. There will always be a Petra,
Mhm.
someone more interesting, someone more fun, someone who needs less or offers more.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then I snapped out of it and I realized how badly I had messed up and I left. Like I came
Mhm.
back.
Especially when he said I messed up, I was like,
Yeah.
"What did you do?"
That sounds
Miles?
so bad. But now that we know, he actually first went to her dad and then got the quick call from Petra sobbing or whatever, and then like he went over and helped him move, and then he talked about Daphne the whole time.
But wouldn't that have
But-
been like something important to share with her?
Right. And like I know that he was trying to avoid because he didn't want to hurt Daphne's feelings about her dad, so he was
He's
trying
like,
to
I
avoid
tried and he still doesn't give a
Yeah,
shit.
so I know that he was trying to avoid all of that, but like it would have been so much easier had he broken that to her about her dad
Mhm.
and then explained, and then Petra called me and then I helped her move and then I talked about you the whole time, but then I realized, what am I doing here? And then I left. Like, and also the audacity of Petra to be like, you don't really deserve someone like her. Like exactly what Peter was trying to say. Trying to manipulate these
I'm like, y'all are
people
crazy
to
people.
get
Yeah.
back with them
Y'all are
because they're
crazy
bored.
people.
Are you
I couldn't stand either of them at
eat
all.
glass?
Eat glass. But here, when they start like fighting and freaking out with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, yeah, no, like, makes sense. Like, you did exactly what I should have expected. And he's like, what the F is that supposed to mean?
Uh-huh.
She's like, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just saying, like, you're off the hook. Off what hook? You told me you don't do expectations or obligations. I said they make me panic. And you did panic, even though you didn't want to. And I did expect something, even though I tried not to. Good, he shouts. Expect something. You want to put me on a hook? Put me on a hook. I freaked out, Daphne, but that doesn't mean I don't love you.
Oh!
He said, put me on a hook. Put me on a hook. Like,
I slapped him. I slapped him out because I literally in nap room. It's dead quiet. All you hear is a whoosh, and I freaked out, Daphne. But that doesn't mean I don't love you. I went like that because I was like,
and like, this is one of the problems with like communication issues in books is like, yeah, he messed up first. He
mhm,
messed up and didn't communicate well, and then his apology was weird, and then the explanation was weird, and like it was
mhm.
a decent explanation, but he didn't say it well, and then but you got the point he was trying to get across.
Yeah.
Like you get the point at the end. He's like, no, like you should expect better from me. Like I'm really sorry. Put me on a hook. Like I love you.
Mhm.
And she's just like, you can't just say you love me and think that it's all better.
It's
You can't help it.
it's such a weird thing to feel because on one hand I'm like, yeah, Daphne, like pop off saying like, you can't just say like I love you and then it erases everything. But also, are you listening to him? Are you listening and trying to
No,
understand like
She's not.
like what he's trying to come from? Because like the way that she just immediately retreated, I was like, girl, talk it out.
Because she was like, and I got what she was saying. He was like pulling a dad, right?
Right.
She was like, you can't just like not show up. Like you don't pick me up from work like you were supposed to, and then you
Uh-huh.
disappear for 2 days, and then I find out you're with Petra, and then you just show up with Fudge and expect that life's supposed to be all better now.
Uh-huh.
Like, you don't get to do that. The little things are what matters to me. But like, you don't give him even a sliver of a doubt to be like, yeah, he does know that. And he
Mhm.
just said that he knows he messed up.
Yeah.
Like, your dad never admits that he messed up.
Right.
He doesn't come back and grovel.
Yeah.
He doesn't apologize. He doesn't acknowledge, like, this is where I failed.
Uh-huh.
Miles is right in front of you saying, these are my grievances. Like, this is how
Uh-huh.
I messed up. And I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just,
Can you believe that is the part that I had to stop? Whenever he says all that, and this is before we get the explanation.
Anxiety.
Yeah, I was literally sick. I had to shut my Kindle off because I had to work, and
Tell
I
the kids
was-
to watch themselves.
I was literally sick. I was nauseous. I could not speak. I was literally just like running through the story. I was running through all of the solutions to the problems. I was like,
Literally.
what did he do? Are they like, I also was thinking, I've never read Emily Henry, but I was like, this has to end in like a good way. Like, it has to be a happy ending. How is it going to go back? Blah, blah, blah. And I literally wanted to throw up.
We're running a little low on time.
Yeah, we are. Our timer's I'm just gonna pause it 'cause I don't
But
want it
the
to
ending
go
was
off.
absolutely beautiful.
When she called her mom, I loved that conversation she had with her mom, because her mom's just like so realistic with her,
Yeah.
you know? And
Mhm.
like, she kind of like had this image of her mom where her mom was like, no, like, I was terrified all the time. That's
Mhm.
why we were constantly running and constantly trying to like, I was constantly trying to do better because I thought I wasn't doing enough. And like, and she said, you were a realist. She said, honey, I'm a cynic, and a cynic is a romantic who's too scared to hope. She said, is that what I am? You, my girl, are whoever you decide to be, but I hope you always keep some piece of that girl who sat by the window, hoping for the best. Life's short enough without us talking ourselves out of hope and trying to dodge every bad feeling. Sometimes you have to push through the discomfort instead of running. And she says, thank you so much. She's like, what I do? She said, you're here. Whenever it counts, you're here. When I grow up, I want to be you. And she said, oh God, no, just be you, the best you, the most you.
Mhm.
I love a good mom.
My last thing. So I knew, like, starting this book, especially whenever I started, like, whenever we found out about Miles and how they were roommates, blah, blah, I was like, okay, funny story. I get it. They're going to be together. And they're going to, like, at the end of the book, they're going to be like, people are going to be like, how'd you guys meet? And they're going to be like, oh, it's actually a funny story. Whatever. And so I knew that was coming, but I forgot about it because I was so involved in the story
Yes.
that at the very end, whenever they're all like at their house and like the party, whatever, and I don't even know I don't remember her name, but she was like Elda or something. She was like,
Harvey's
so
little-
how did you guys like meet? And they're like, you really never, like, you haven't heard? And then the way that he's like, well, it's a funny story. I sobbed. I was like, it's a funny story.
I cried. I cried a few times throughout this.
Oh, for sure. The
But
whole,
when
yeah.
she calls her dad,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
lost it.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Where she stands her ground with him.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because it was that call from him where he was like, yeah, that friend of yours, can't believe he had the audacity to talk to me like that. Like, I did something wrong. And she was like,
Mhm.
oh my God. He said what I haven't been able to say for years. And then she called and just absolutely let him have it.
Yeah.
And she said, pin drop silence. Then finally he murmurs, oh, Daphne. And he says, oh, Daphne, you have to understand, I've got to go. I'll call you when it's a good time for me.
Mhm.
And then I also, whenever Ashley was like, we've had a bunch of volunteers drop out, I was like, we have friends now.
Yeah.
We have friends now.
Mhm.
Call Julia. Call Miles, obviously.
Yeah.
Call Barb and Lenore. We have friends now. Call
Yeah.
our friends. And Ashley was like, I'll handle it. I was like, she has Julia's number. She's going to call our friends.
Uh-huh.
She's going to get the friends.
Yeah, literally that whole last part, I just cried.
Yeah.
Like, of them taking the walk. Like, literally, as soon as they started taking the walk, I just started crying because I knew where things were going. And it was just so beautiful and magical.
Oh, one of the lines that just, like, made me feel things. Whenever, like, they're at the end of the, like, sleepover lock-in thing, whatever.
Mhm.
And She said, I dust myself off, leave the office, take in the soft musk of books and the hint of pine and something I can't name but recognize like an old friend. I feel a bittersweetness that this moment can't last, that time will pull us along soon. But for the first time in a while, I'm excited about the unknown. That, like, I feel a bittersweetness that this moment can't last, that time will pull us along soon. It just feels so, like, I don't know, it feels like a magical little, like,
Yeah.
line, like something that, like, there's, like, stardust around, right? Like,
I
time will
feel that
pull us
way.
along soon.
I feel that way about this line where she says, "The same universe that dispassionately takes things away can bring you things you weren't imaginative enough to dream up." I was like,
I highlighted that one too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right.
God, I just love them so much.
I was
Mhm.
consumed by this book
Me too.
completely. I could not put it down. I couldn't think. It took me a day or two to recover
Mhm.
to even start the next book I needed to read.
What would you rate it out of 5
5.
stars?
5.
5. Easy.
No question.
I
Easy
never.
5.
I have never hit a 5 star so
Yeah,
fast.
same.
I was like,
I said, I don't even care what they think. I
no.
said 5.
5. I
5 all
loved
the
it
way.
so much.
The fact that, listen, if the book made me cry, and not in like a sad way that
Right.
would make me cry,
Yeah.
if the book made me cry at least one time, it's probably a 5-star.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because, like, I literally, there were times, the times that I had highlighted, and I was like, I'm literally crying. I was literally crying. Because
Yes.
I'm like, the way she writes and she explains these scenes and she, like, puts you in her place to, like, feel what is happening in this world as Daphne. You are Daphne. I just,
Yeah.
nothing could compare. Like, it was
No,
so good.
it's
I
so
loved it.
insane. I think we have to just read all the other ones.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because they're all about that length. Like, they're all
Yeah.
quick and good. And like I said, I've only read the other 2, but they're both so good. I will reread them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing for me is I would definitely reread that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think which one I loved more. Book Lovers or People We Meet on Vacation. I think People We Meet on Vacation was like so fun for me because it's like a friends to lovers.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of times we do like the enemies to lovers or like
Mhm.
and the friends to lovers
Yeah.
scenario was
I think
just
that's
like
cute.
I was eat up with it. Like I just
Yeah.
it was so good. We don't know what we're doing next week.
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
We'll decide. We'll do something.
We'll figure it
We're
out.
always here.
If all else fails, we have our book club book.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. I should probably read that.
Just haven't opened
It's
it.
very short.
Oh, okay.
On my second day, and I'm already almost 40% in.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I've only read during nap.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
very, very short.
That
I
could
think
work.
it's like 2. It was like 320. Maybe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's even shorter than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I'm like emotionally beat.
Yeah.
That one was like, oh,
Just so consuming.
I love Miles.
oh my god.
Oh yeah.
He's made the book boyfriend list.
Yeah.
Really. When I think of him, I think of Logan Lerman now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Especially that one picture I sent. It's exactly how I imagine him. The peppered hair.
mm-hmm.
And the scruff that he
The
has.
scruff.
I realized like towards the end of this, I have no idea what Daphne looks like.
I always imagine the main character as myself. Unless it's like completely described differently.
True.
But I feel like normally we get like a better like at
Like,
least some sort of description.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I imagined her with dark hair because they gave Petra blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagined like Petra and Peter are the blondies and they have the dark hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she might have mentioned the color of her eyes
I think
like
she
once.
mentioned.
Does she have green eyes?
That's what I was thinking.
I think
Yeah,
so.
and I'm pretty sure she was brunette.
I think
I
so.
think she had said that.
I mean, she's on the front, but it's like a
so
cartoon.
true, Bestie.
And she is a brunette in the cartoon.
Yeah.
I remember she said she's taller than Ashley, and Ashley is 5 foot even.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she wasn't as curvy as Ashley.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing about Emily Henry. I love the covers of her books. They're so cute. God. I can't. What are you looking for?
She says, there wasn't garbage sticking to my chestnut brown hair.
Yeah, there
Okay.
it goes. There was something.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Thank you.
This
for
was
fun.
so good.
It was so nice to have you. It's such a
It's-
wonderful book.
It's so fun to do a cute little rom-com.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We haven't done one in a minute. I loved it.
Yeah.
Guys, we love y'all. Thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
All the links are in the thing. Follow us on TikTok. We're really funny. What did I
Should-
miss?
I really was. I was
think
about
she
to
thought
say
that you
it.
were about to wave.
No, I was gonna
Oh.
say link in the bio, blah 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 blah. But then you started, so I just went.
Follow us on TikTok though. We're really super funny.
We are.
Yeah, Haley makes our TikToks. Tell her that she's pretty and fun.
Yeah.
If you don't, I don't know, probably sue you, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else I could do about it other than sue you. Seems the only thing that makes sense.
It's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
Seems reason. Bye guys.
Bye.